Let me show your lovely faces again. There you are. There, up. Wait, all the way over. Close your mouth. You're catching flies. Okay. All right, back to us. Wait. Okay. That was Jason again. Okay. Are we ready? Here we go. So we start off with this. It says y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. Now, can we just try to think of this right away as a trinomial that we can factor? Can you guys automatically see that there's no factors of 1 that add up to 4? Okay. Step 1. Tell me ABCs. Everybody? Negative 1, 4, and negative 1. Okay. Now, every problem that is quadratic, every single equation that's quadratic, when it's written with as a y equals, now all of a sudden it becomes a function. Now all of a sudden it's something we can graph. Does anybody remember what the shape was? Nick, whatever you're doing, you need to stop and pay attention, please. Thank you. Does anybody know the name of the shape that looks like this? Kiara? This is a parabola, guys. Parabola. Parabola. Now, guys, they open upward. What I mean by that is it looks like a smiley face. When it opens downward, it looks like a frown face. And now, how do you know this? Well, there's one way to tell, and it's always true. This number right here, if it's negative, think it's sad. It's negative. If A is negative, it does that, right? Which, in this case, if A is positive, it smiles. Okay? So let's do step 1. Does this open upward or downward, this function? Down, right? So it's going to be an upside down parabola. So everybody just circle down. And I have the word min and max, the words min and max. Max means that the top of it is here. Minimum means that the bottom of it is right there. Okay? So now, we're going to let y equal 0. So all that means is instead of y equals, we're going to replace y with 0. And then we're going to write it equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. And we talked about this earlier, but can we factor this? No. So you don't know how to solve it by factoring, but if it can't be factored, what do we always have in our back pocket that we can do? Quadratic formula. So guys, you know what ABC are. Since we cannot factor it, let's do the quadratic formula. So let's use the quadratic formula, which x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Fill the holes. So hopefully you guys see that it's what? 4, 4, negative 1, negative 1, and negative 1. All agree? Okay. Now let's just move over here. Let's simplify this. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus. Let's see if we can simplify this all here. This is what? 16, and now we got negative, negative, negative. So if there's 3 negatives, is it positive or negative? Negative. So it's 16 minus what? 4. So it's radical 12 all over negative 2. Now, radical 12, hopefully you see can be simplified. 4 and 3, guys. So I'm going to move it over here. So it's negative 4 plus or minus. Now, if this is 4 and 3, I'm kind of going to do this in my head. If this is really 4 times 3, what comes out of the radical? 2. What's left under the radical? All over negative 2. Do we have a triangle of things that we can simplify? Right here, right? The 4, the 2, and the 2 can all be cut in half. So our final answer is x equals negative 2 plus or minus 1 radical 3 over negative 1. By the way, if these are both negative, you know what that actually means? It's positive, so you can think of it as 2 plus or minus radical 3. Okay. So far so good. We just solved it. Now guys, my two solutions right here, these two things, do you get that this is really two solutions? So one of them is 2 plus radical 3. What's the other one? 2 minus radical 3. Which are yucky numbers, right? Yucky numbers that a calculator would tell us the decimal equivalents of. Does anybody know what this word symmetry means? Same, but it has to do with, think of more of a geometric thing, like for example your face. Isn't your face symmetrical? If you drew a line right down the middle of your face, isn't the left half supposed to look like the right half? Unless you've had like a tragic lawnmower accident with a, your ear or something, like Van Gogh. Everybody thinks he cut it off. No, it was a lawnmower. That's not true. No, I'm kidding. No, your face is symmetrical. As a matter of fact, your whole body is symmetrical, only vertically, right? Not horizontally. If you cut yourself in half at the waist, the top half does not look like the bottom half. Otherwise, you'd have a head dragging in the mud, or you'd have 2 feet above your head. So you're symmetrical. So a parabola is symmetrical. The left side is exactly the same as the right side. And the axis of symmetry is a line. And I need to have all of you focus now. Do you guys recognize this little piece right here? Negative b over 2a. Doesn't it sound like a piece of what? It is. So guys, all you're going to do is still using these numbers here, plug them in. So x equals, step 4, x equals, what is the opposite of b over 2a? It's negative 4 over 2 times negative 2, right? 2 times negative 1, I should say, is negative 2, which is what? 2, right? So guys, that is a line. If you remember back from chapter 5, when I have x equals some number, it's just a vertical line. And where is that vertical line located?
The graph.
Yeah, on the graph, but where on the graph? So guys, it says draw the axis of symmetry at x equals 2. So everybody, go down to your graph. Do you remember that this, of course, is the x and y axis? All I do is go to the right 2, right? And I'm going to put a dotted line along that location. I go to the right 2. Now this is my axis of symmetry right here. Why is it dotted? Because we're not actually graphing a line. We're just using it as a reference. This is going to be the middle of our parabola. This is going to be the middle of our frown. But now we don't know where along this line it's located. We just know that it's the middle. Okay? So now the vertex is the middle of your parabola. This is the middle of the parabola. This is the middle. Okay? Now, it says to find the y value of the vertex. Well, guys, go back up here. If you know what x is, how do you find y? If I know that x is 2, how are you going to find y? Plug it in. So everybody, all you do is plug this value in for x. So you write y equals negative, plug in the 2 squared, right? I'm just plugging it in here, plus 4 times 2, and then subtract 1. Now simplify that. What does that equal? Let's see. This is 2 squared, which is 4. This makes it negative 4. Plus 8 minus 1. What does that equal? Negative 4 plus 8 is 4, right? Minus 1 is 3. So guys, the vertex is an ordered pair. What was the x value of the ordered pair that I plugged in? 2. What spat out once I plugged 2 in? 3. Guys, it says plot the vertex. This is the middle of our parabola. So you go to the right 2 and up 3. There is the middle of your parabola right there. Everybody good so far? Okay. Now on the number 8 it says complete the xy table. Use at least 2 values left or right of the vertex. Guys, you're going to be drawing a parabola, but you don't know if it's going to be like a fat parabola or a really skinny parabola. You just know that the middle of it's right here and the top of it's right there. Well, what you're going to do then is you're going to plug in numbers that are to the left or to the right, but you don't have to do both. How come? Symmetrical, right? If it's symmetrical, the left side is a mirror image of the right side. Okay, so tell me what's immediately to the left of x equals 2. X equals 1. And what's to the left of that? X equals 0. So guys, let's plug in 1 and let's plug in 0 and see what we get back out. And what is it we're plugging them into? You're plugging them into this. Y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. So just plug in 1 here, so you get negative 1 squared plus 4 times 1 minus 1. And I rely that you can do this on your head. I rely upon your mental math. What is that? Negative 1 plus 4, right, is what? Negative 1 plus 4 is? Minus 1 is 2. Guys, that's an ordered pair. 1, comma 2. Go down and plot it. 1, 2. Good? Now let's plug in 0. That one you should hardly have to do any work. If I plug in 0 into this for x, does everybody see immediately what spits out? Do it. What's 0 squared blah, 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 minus 1? What spits out? Does everybody see how easy it is to plug in 0? Now what's my ordered pair there? 0, negative 1. Everybody go to the left, 0, and what? Down 1. Okay, we got to finish this in 4 minutes or less. Okay, step 9. Right here it says, reflect the points on the other side. Make the left side of your face look like the right side. Hey, I need to put an ear here, right? And see how this is down here? I go to the right there. Okay, what does the next thing say? Connect the points to make a smooth parabola. So everybody, you're not connecting with lines, you're kind of doing a curve, because a parabola is a curved shape. And down it goes, and there's your parabola. But here's the most important part. This is the key to why we're doing chapter 9. How many times does this parabola cross the x-axis, guys? Does everybody see that it crosses it twice? Okay. 2. If so, at what point? Now, guys, can you identify that point even if I zoom in? Does it look like it crosses at a nice neat point or a yucky point? Okay, a yucky point is right. A yucky point that happens to be a fraction. And the fraction that I'm trying to hopefully get through to you guys is going to be that one and that one. So watch what I do when I plug in 2 plus the square root of 3 is 3.73. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't it somewhere between 3 and 4 there? As a matter of fact, you know where exactly it is? 3.73. And guess what this one is? Instead of 2 plus the square root of 3, I can do 2 minus the square root of 3, which is 0.26. So what is that? Like a fourth, right? Between 0 and 1? Doesn't it kind of look like it? Well, it is, guys. It is. So at what points do they cross the x-axis? Let me zoom out. So let's answer the question. So it crosses it at something comma 0 and something comma 0. Do you know what those somethings are? 2 plus radical 3 and 2 minus radical 3. That's the values right there. Guys, these things are called solutions. I'm down to 45 seconds, so I got to answer this. Does this thing have 1 root, 2 root, or 3 root, or no roots? Does it cross the x-axis 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times? 2 times, right? 2 roots. And what are the 2 roots? Those are the 2 roots right there. So basically, the whole point of solving quadratics is to see how many times it crosses the x-axis. Okay? And those are called solutions. They're called roots. They're also called, please write this, they're also called zeros. And they're also called x-intercepts. And that's the whole point of this. I'm down to 4, 3, 2, 1 second,